Hello guys, and welcome to the Accounting Buddy. And this channel, our focus is on financial accounting, auditing, taxation, and everything to do with management accounting. Now, if any of these topics are your interest, do click on the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future videos. Now, today we're going to be looking at a very important topic in the cost accounting area, which is traditional costing and activity-based costing. We're going to start off with traditional costing. So now a traditional costing system usually allocates fixed production overheads based on one volume-driven allocation, which is your machine hours or your labor hours. So we're going to add all the manufacturing overhead cost, have one total number, and divide it by machine hours or your labor hours. A typical way of doing this, let me just get my pointer on, is that our formula will have our total overhead cost. Let's just say our overhead cost is 1,000, maybe. Yeah, let's just say we have 1,000 as our total overhead costs, and our total budgeted labor hours for this example, let's say, is 15. Sorry about that, 15. So now if you hit on the calculator there, you will find that our overhead rate will be 66.67. So this is how we allocate a cost in a traditional system, right? Not so bad. Now, one of the advantages of a traditional costing system is that it is easy to use, easy to implement. It is not so complicated, as you can see by the nature of our calculation. And since it's easy to use, it is also a cost-effective system. It is not an expensive system to implement. And one of the other advantages is that it can be used for external reporting. When you compile your financial statements, whether it be the profit or loss statement, balance sheet, or your statement of cash flows, this kind of system is allowed by the GAAP or IFRS international framework for reporting standards is acceptable. But one of the disadvantages, I think this is what also necessitates the AB system, which we're going to look at later on, is accuracy issues. It is not the best way to get accuracy in terms of allocating costs because of the nature of the calculation. So these are one of the problems that the traditional costing system has. Now, another system that we're going to look at here is ABC, activity-based costing. Now, in activity-based costing, unlike the traditional costing system, we assume that our products are created by activities. What do I mean by activities? So say you have a range of products, right? Because this is an optimal environment for ABC is when you have a diverse product range, right? So we assume that every product is driven, or the product cost rather, is driven by activity, number of setups, machine hours, maintenance hours, and we try to quantify those activities, those costs per activity. So a typical way of doing that is finding the cost of a particular activity. Maybe this is the maintenance. We can assume that to be the maintenance in this case, and something that could be a cost driver in the maintenance of a machine, or just maintenance, could be the hours in which the system is maintained. So if we have an activity cost and maintenance costs us just 100, and our cost driver costs us 20, so that simply means that our maintenance per unit is 5, right? So in activity-based costing, again, allocation of cost is based on utilization of activities. Like I said, these are the cost drivers. So we're going to create separate cost pools and calculate separate cost drivers for different activities. Now we're going to look at how to set up an A/B system on the next video. Right now I just want to give you the theory part of it all. Now the reason why we have ABC is because it is a more accurate way of allocating costs, because now instead of just using one overhead rate, we actually classify and try to look at every activity on its own individual merits. And it's also cost cutting. These are one of the advantages. It's also cost cutting because we have a better picture of which activities that we have are the major activities. So this is the biggest advantage, which necessitates an activity-based costing. Now do note, however, that an activity-based costing system cannot be used on its own, because activity-based costing cannot be used to price products. So if you're going to have an A/B system, that means you are going to simultaneously have a traditional system so that you can price the cost of products. So that means you're going to have two books where you make entries. Now, one of the disadvantages of the A/B system, however, is that it is expensive to implement. This is an expensive system to implement, and most companies are reluctant, even workers are reluctant to use the A/B system, since there's so much inquiry that goes on, and it also requires specialized knowledge to use the system. It is not easy to use as in compared to the traditional system. And also it cannot be used for external reporting. The auditors will not accept the reporting using activity-based costing, unlike in traditional costing, which is accepted by GAAP or the IFRS standard. So this one is only for internal reporting, just for the internal purposes of the business. So this one will not be allowed. Also, I know I'm talking about too many negatives on the ABC, but the one clear standout here is that the AB system is the most accurate way of allocating. Now guys, thank you for watching the video. If you have any tutorial inquiries or you have something to say regarding this topic, do leave a comment on the comment section, or alternatively you can drop us an email at this email, or follow us on Twitter at accountinggenie. Guys, on the next video I will be looking at how to set up the A/B system and how to go about allocating costs in a very detailed video.